it's gonna be a wild ride. When it comes to loving you, I've got velvet hands, and I'll show you how a real bad boy can be a real good man. Oh, yes, I will, sweetheart. Here we go. I'll take all the good times I can get. That's right, baby. I'm too young for growing up just yet. Ain't much I can promise you, except to do the best that I can. Hey, I'll be damned. I may be a real bad boy, but baby, I'm a real good man. I may be a real bad boy, oh, but baby, I'm a real good man. Oh, yes, I am, honey. Right. Hank Williams sang it, number 3 drove it, Chuck Berry twined it, Will Faulkner wrote it, Aretha Franklin sold it, Dolly Parton graced it, Rosa Parks wrote it, and Scarlett O chased it. Smooth as the hickory wind that blows from Memphis down to Apalachicola. How y'all did you eat? Well, come on in, I'm so glad to know you. Don't let this old gold cross or this Allman Brothers t-shirt throw you. It's cicadas making noise with the southern boys. Guitar! Hank Aaron smacked it, Michael Jordan dunked it, Pocahontas tracked it, and Jack Daniels drunk it. Tom Petty rocked it, Dr. King paved it, Bear Bryant won it, and Billy Graham saved it. Smooth as the hickory wind that blows from Memphis down to Apalachicola. How y'all did you eat? Well, come on in, I'm sure glad to know you. Don't let this old gold cross or this crimson tide t-shirt throw you. It's cicadas making noise with the southern boys. One more time, son. Jesus is my friend. America is my home. Sweet iced tea and Jerry Lee. Daytona Beach, that's what gets to me. I can feel it in my bones. Hey. Smooth as the hickory wind that blows from Memphis down to Apalachicola. How y'all did you eat? Well, come on in, child. bunch of Southern boys. Hey, rock the house, I'm proud of my Southern boys. Come on. Here we go. Thanks to all the veterans out there and our current men and women overseas today. Thank you.
All right. Today we are here with James Presley and friends. Thank you guys. You guys sounded great. And we have James, of course.
Thank you.
Vegas McGraw, Rick Champion. And before the emails start, that is the Rick Champion, not a Rick Champion.
Oh.
I know it's going to happen. Johnny Garcia, Kenny Morris, and Denny Mishler. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
It's good.
Thanks
for
having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks
So
for
what we've been doing here is talking about the pandemic things, of course, how it affected the industry here in Vegas. So we're asking if you're starting to see some things turn around. Are we picking up some work? Are we getting back to it? Is it slow?
I do a lot of my own booking. I have been doing a lot of my booking for many years. Been doing this for 18 years. It seems like the private shows are coming back, meaning that they want to control their own circumstances. They don't want to be controlled by someone else on how their event should take place. Just yesterday alone, I booked a private show in South Carolina and one in Cary, North Carolina. They're just private shows, man, but they're handling everything and making a private, renting out a ballroom, and doing it their way. So It seems like those kind of shows are coming back. That's what I'm finding. The budgets don't seem as good as they used to be, but it seems like everybody has a great attitude, and they're just the willingness of wanting to book you. It seems like it's better. Now, with that being said, it seems like it's taking longer for contracts to be returned. You know what I mean? Because I still think they're waiting. People are still waiting. They don't know. So I've already booked 3 shows in 2022. Florida, Arizona, and I think in Vermont or somewhere random like that. So yeah, the contracts are hard to get signed and returned at an appropriate time. And then it seems like airfare is hit and miss. Travel expenses seem to be going up, the gasoline cost. So as a booking agent, as a promoter, as the entertainer, I try to handle as much as I can, but I'm also noticing that budgets are shrinking a little bit and some travel expenses are creeping up. So
I gotcha.
It's gonna be rough. It's not gonna be easy right off the bat, I don't think, but things are definitely happening.
So now, are these shows, are they being billed as COVID-safe shows? And what are you seeing as far as the audiences? Are they participating? Are they still a little bit
Well, here's what's crazy.
antsy?
Here's what's crazy. Now, I've been lucky to have a few shows since all this has happened, right? For example, back in September, I did a show in Indiana with the national act, Jimmy Allen. So I was his opening act. There was 4,500 people out there in Indiana, not one mask.
Wow.
And I'm out there just shaking hands, and we're having, you would have never, it was like Twilight Zone, man. 4,500 people. I go into the hotel, to check in with the band and everything, and we're all like in masks. We're like, don't need a mask here. So I think every town is just so different. But here's the crazy thing. So I did that show for 4,500 people in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. I had a casino show booked in the same city like 3 months later, but they had to cancel the casino show. And it finally got rescheduled for this September, like a whole year later. I'm like, we just did a show for 4,500 people in the same city.
Wow.
So everybody is playing by different rules. So it's strange.
Yeah, we saw some of that. I mentioned on the last episode that we were in Tahoe around the beginning of the year, and they had a calendar starting in April all the way through December of like the Beeline concerts. There's some of the showroom stuff that looked like it was a go, and then just within the past few weeks here, they put everything on permanent or temporary postponement. So they don't know when they're going to pick it back up. Everybody's trying. It seems like everybody's anxious, to get rolling again. But I think there's still some state mandates, and I don't know if the people are quite ready to go there. As people are getting vaxxed, I think they're a little bit more comfortable going out there. But I think there's still just this uncertainty in the whole industry, that people are just not quite as comfortable. But Jim, you have a lot of things going, not just playing.
Yeah, I got quite a few. But on this subject, people have different rules that they're doing.
Sure.
And it's interesting. I have a good friend of mine, it's a bass player in Oregon, and he went a couple of nights ago to play a gig, and the club owner said, "Now, if you wear a mask, you can't play."
Oh, wow.
And they're, they got their restaurant license, so he handed him a bottle of water. He says, "Keep the bottle of water in your hand."
Wow.
So they're looking for loopholes too.
Sure.
But if I could look into a little crystal ball, and say the big if we can get past all this, people have been suppressed so long, it's going to be like the roaring 20s.
Yeah.
So musicians need to really get ready and try to get out there. I work for, a 90s type country artist in town. And he's one of the best in town, and I've already got people calling to book him now.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say where it is. Sure. There's a lot of competition in business, but I see it coming back, and I'm doing some stuff that's, away from this type of entertainment industry. Also, I've got a musical that I did on Peter Pan, and that's, I'm using some of the people. I'm not with the school district here, but I'm using some of the people from the school district, and it's being going to be booked in London for school. So I'm doing a whole mix of a little bit of everything.
Has any of that affected that directly, the COVID thing now? Or
It's
is it still in the
It
future?
stopped. Yeah, in London where they were going to have schools perform this, it's just stopped. I'm still in touch with them, and I'm working on the next feature, next installment of it. And they're just waiting, but it doesn't just lay dead.
Right.
They're just not able to put it out to the schools yet because the arts programs are not happening yet.
Right.
But they will.
I gotcha. So, Denny, I know that you're always in demand. I see you out there all the time. So how's it looking for you, or how have you managed to make it through this period?
It's definitely picking up. So I'm really blessed. I've been pretty much working nonstop since the beginning of it. I do see like casinos are starting to have lounges open up and all that kind of stuff. So I got a steady gig I do at the Palazzo, and the, travel dates that I do with artists are starting to pick up. I've been doing a ton of session work.
Oh, very good.
I think I did 66 sessions in February. Wow. So a lot of recording. So that's been helping make ends meet.
I have a few friends with recording studios and some converted houses, apartments, and they said the same thing, that they're starting to see a little bit more of that traffic. I don't know if not being able to go out is driving that market. I would assume so. It makes
songwriters got stimulus money, and they just want to get their stuff out there. Yeah.
Right. Don't say that, because then they won't send it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. Kenny, how's it looking for you out there?
I've actually been pretty fortunate. I've been working pretty much through all of this local place, and every weekend it's kind of like a perfect dream. I'm retired. I get to play music.
Excellent. Just doing it, right?
Take care of my wife and my dog.
Gotcha. And John, I know we worked with a couple of the same people. And busy groups, people that were always out there as well.
Yeah, but ever since all this hit, I've only done a handful of gigs in the last year. But I got my hand in a couple of different other projects right now, and got some recording, some video and stuff like that. So when everything does open up, just waiting around to get back there. And that's hanging around the house, and my grandbabies, my wife, my dogs.
There you go.
That's pretty much about it for me.
That's been kind of a good thing about it. I guess it kind of forced us to stay home a little bit and look at that, a little bit different way. I mean, I appreciated the time that we had off. I mean, we were grinding, pretty hard, for a couple of years there. So in hindsight, as we look at it, it was a kind of a nice break, and I guess we should have done more with it. I mean, we're anxious to get back to work and do something. So this came about for that very reason. But I think for what we do, it's going to be a little bit quiet, just because our model of what we were doing with the show is this big shoulder to shoulder thing, and it's just a little tougher to get that online, right now. But I'm very optimistic, and from the people that we've spoken to seem to feel the same way.
Yeah, everybody's very optimistic, and it's still going to take some time,
absolutely,
before everything opens up.
Yeah,
especially the casinos here in town. So, whether or not they open up their lounges again, how long it takes, or if they're even going to open them up.
Right.
We have no idea.
And that's been a problem too, is that the casinos have allocated the entertainment money to other things. So they're opening up a little bit less than they were paying.
Right. Yep.
The ones that have opened at all, and that's going to make it rough because everybody now, there's so much talent to choose from. And like you were saying earlier, there's this competition, of everybody is standing in the same line, so they kind of have their pick, and if you don't want to do it for the money that they're putting out there, somebody else will.
Oh, absolutely. There's always, yeah, absolutely.
And that makes it really tough, on the guys that are out there doing the right thing, doing the job well, and it just kind of opens up the door. And that's been the ever problem, in this industry altogether, is guys just undercutting and going to do it for, a lot less. But Mr. Champion.
Yeah. The biggest problem is I see young kids, they're phenomenal musicians. And I see the YouTubes and I'm thinking, where will they work? In casinos, especially when there's a disaster like the strike years ago here in town, lounges closes. Then there was another thing happen, more lounges closed. And it seems the young corporate people that are running, casinos now, they're more interested in revenue rather than the live music. People come over from England and they say, I thought there was a live band on every street corner. Yeah, 50 years ago.
Right.
And I really don't see it turning around simply because it's all about profit. And profit is not musicians. Unfortunately, it's machines.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I hope not,
Right.
But like I was saying, young musicians, I feel sorry for them because these young kids are amazing. They've learned through YouTube and whatever to really learn their instrument well. I just think, where are they going to play?
That are
Where will they work?
fantastic musicians.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think that's when your motivation and stuff kicks in and your drive. You know what I mean? Because, and I don't like to pat myself on the back, but man, I've never been musically inclined, never grew up around it, never picked up a microphone until later in life, but no one's going to outwork me. You know what I mean? So for these kids that we do see, because I do see a lot of very talented kids too, but man, you create a way. You got to create a way. And that's the motivational speaking that comes out from me, being a motivational speaker for 3 years to high school kids and junior high kids. And if you want something bad enough, you're going to find a way regardless. For me, my inspiration was growing up in a town that had one stoplight. But I'm with you. I understand the kids today. Where do they go? How do you make it happen?
I mean, I was watching American Idol. I haven't seen it since it probably came out when Carrie Underwood won it. And these singers on it are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And to see their faces when they get rejected, I'm thinking, is that going to affect them? 12, 13 years old.
Well, they power
It's
through.
like-
Yeah.
And then if you turn your back, most of them sound the same. I mean, when Stevie Wonder come out, Aretha Franklin, you knew that was them, Frank Sinatra. But I haven't heard a voice where I could say, wow, that is totally different. That's what's a little scary for me with these young kids. And if they get really disturbed about it, what's their future going to be where they've been knocked down?
Right.
Some, like Adam's saying, you got to have that drive. Like Adam, he has the drive.
Yeah.
And I did the same when I was 16. I was in Germany. I slept in bars and vans.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go, but the passion of music, just keeps you going.
Well, the advantage that they certainly have now is social media and all those tools to at least put themselves out there. I mean, they've done away with what the record companies used to do. And that's a bit of absolutely APKs
Oh my
and
gosh, listen, man, I take a tote to our local U.S. post office back in Sissonville, West Virginia. I would take this huge tote. I put T-shirts in it, guitar picks. I put CDs in it. I put my tour schedule, who I've done what with, and all that. I sent this stuff to them, and they'd always write back or tell me, "Man, I've never got a press package like that in my life." But that stuff's all gone now.
Right? Yeah.
All you have to do is say, "Send the link."
Yeah.
All those mediums.
Send the link.
All those mediums. We've done a lot of promotional videos over the years. I've been in town since '98, and that was a big thing. I remember having VCA, VHS duplicators and CD burners and Blu-ray and all that stuff is gone. Now it is just the links and everything's digitized, and certainly makes it much easier. And you're able to manage those things, a lot better. So, have you guys all been in Vegas? Are there any islanders here? Any natives? There are never any
I'm,
natives.
a,
No,
I'm a
natives.
Nevada native.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
think I'm from Vegas, but
So a thing that I hear a lot is back in the day when the mob ran this town, it was so much better. The music and the industry and the entertainers were treated so much better. How do you see that now? I mean, how do you stack that comment out?
It's really different now. I wasn't here then, but I got here in time to get to know Bob Stein, a few people that were here. And they told me their stories. I had a next door neighbor that worked for like 30 something years at Flamingo, and they would take care of him. When I first got to town, I did have just a teeny bit of that. The general manager from Samstown used to come up and go, "Hey, you guys hungry?" And they'd write you out a pass. And we were on the road. If we ever needed a room, they go, "Oh yeah," they'd write you out a comp for a room. They would do all kind of things for the musicians. But now it's different. It's all commercial. The licenses have to go proper to run a casino. So everything is just, it's about money. And that, that's okay. Just everything evolves.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
now we get to pay for parking
after this.
Yeah, I moved here in '93, and I was working 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. Back then I was praying for a week off so I could go home and see my family.
You and I were doing it.
So
we would get rooms because we would be working triple shifts, and we would try to get 2 or 3 hours of sleep because we'd have to start over again.
Yeah, those times are gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're lucky, if you get a 3-nighter anymore.
Johnny and I, we were with the first bands that played in Carnival Courtyard. They didn't even have the bar finished yet.
Oh, wow.
And it was like insane. That's when it got to where we were triple shifts and things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if a musician wasn't making $70,000, they weren't a good musician.
Wow. Yeah, my dad was a guitar player, and he worked here in the '60s at the Mint, and he was telling me about those times. He's a showroom guy, and when I came here, he was like, "Oh my goodness!" And he was telling me in the '60s he was making like $1,500 a week, and they lived in the hotel.
Yeah,
they were fed, and they had zero expenses. I mean, all that money was there. So when I came here in '98, he was like, "Oh my God, you guys are probably making a fortune by now," and I'm like, "Oh, we're not even making that."
Right.
In some of the lounges, and I think we caught the tail end or around that time is as it was starting to decline, that leading up to 2008, and it's just a whole different thing. And I remember a period, I won't mention the room, but there was a room here that was 7 45-minute sets.
Oh yeah.
I remember a lot of those.
We know though. We don't need to say which, but and it's been insane. Like
actually, there was a few of those.
There was a few of those.
gigs.
They were back for set number 13.
But there was no shortage of bands, and the money was better. I mean, I'll say the money was better,
Absolutely.
but I don't know of 7-set money I would do. These
Especially now, no.
Yeah, and there's still some long gigs out there.
There
I mean, there are a few, but but at that time too, it was double shift everywhere. Every single room had a couple of venues, and it was just booming. It was on
booming.
fire,
Yeah.
It was just a different period. But like I say, I've heard that a lot, from guys that have been here a long time, like, oh, back in the day, XXX, But what's this bus story that I keep hearing?
We had an old bus and a bus driver that was converted this old 55 scenic cruiser bus.
Double decker.
Yeah. Oh, we were on a hill, and the brakes went out. Everything's by air. And the bus driver looked at me and started going backwards. I said, "Well, just put it in the ditch right away. Just put it in the ditch." But he waited until he picked up to about 30 miles an hour. Kenny bells out, breaks a little finger.
Oh, no.
And then, we hit the bomb, and so much for the bus. He's got rid of the bus.
Talk
sold
about
the
all
bus.
shook up.
It's pretty simple, but it was nerve-wracking, yeah. Just one of them old road stories.
Back in the traveling. So or before COVID, were you guys traveling a lot, a little bit more in town stuff? Or I'd see you traveling a lot.
Yeah, the majority of my work was traveling.
Was out of town?
Yeah, it's been nice being home.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that was just one of the things of the effects of COVID that turned on the light.
Yeah, they're starting to come in though. I just did one in Dallas, a 2-nighter in Dallas, and right before that we were in Phoenix, and I got some coming up. And Yeah, it's starting to open up. The travel is, anyways.
Yeah, very good. So because of your story, I have a story, country band story. Traveling in the South,
Yeah.
we were setting up at this place. We won't mention the name. And we just set up our stuff there. We were in the dock, and an ambulance pulls up. And no big deal. So we're good. And then a few minutes later, another one pulls up. And about 15 minutes pass, and there's 3 of them back there. And the 3 EMTs are just standing on the dock, just talking. And we were just waiting for sound check, and we were all loaded in. So I couldn't stand it anymore. I go ask him, hey guys, what's up with the ambulances, And the guy goes, oh, there's a live band tonight. So evidently that was the thing, man. Whenever there was live music, they were going to need at least 3 ambulances.
That's great.
I love that story.
That's awesome. That's great.
Oh, I was
Great
playing
story.
a gig, something sort of along that line. We were at a place. I can give you the name because it's not open anymore. It was called Henry's Hideaway in Plantersville, Texas, a little town about 45 miles north of Houston. And we was playing, and I'm not sure what caused it, but the entire, and it was one of those places where you bring your own bottle, You get set up.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Okay, they used to have them over there like that. They called them ice houses too. Anyway, the whole place broke into a giant free-for-all. And I'm sitting back going, holy cow. And they didn't stop. I bet 45 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Things
Oh,
were,
wow.
I grabbed the
Wow.
mic stand just to be sure I
Yeah, they
didn't
didn't
stay.
get hit.
That
Yeah.
was hilarious. So this was probably around 79.
No chicken wire?
A chicken
No, I
wire.
didn't have one with that one.
Oh no, everybody's done the chicken wire.
Oh, the chicken
That's
wire.
true.
You ever did a chicken wire, Adam?
Chicken wire. No, I haven't been on chicken wire. No. I've been
Well, you have
lucky.
that to look
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
to.
I've had a lot of things thrown at me, but
Yeah, the lid.
but there's chicken wire to block it.
If you went to a club with chicken wire, yeah,
That club is in
it's bad.
LA, isn't it? The one with the chicken wire that they use for Toby's.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't
Toby's
know.
thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that it is. Yeah.
Well, that'd be good. I'd like to see that.
Post Blues Brothers, but yeah, there was one there.
Right. So, anything coming up you guys want to discuss? You had a whole bunch of shows coming. Jim,
Got a
any
lot of stuff
productions?
coming up, yeah.
Anything?
A lot of stuff.
And we all pretty much work for Adam at different times. But what it is, everybody around here, we're all friends, and we work for Adam. We work for different people. We play in bands together. We work in studios together. And that's why this was a fun thing to do, because we have the same experiences, and everybody travels and everybody plays.
Yeah, me and Denny's been as far as where, St. Thomas or somewhere. Where were we?
Yeah, the Virgin Gorda.
We've been down, the Virgin Gorda Islands and all that. And Jimmy's been all the way to Connecticut and Maine and all those places with me. So, there's a good group of musicians around here. Denny's one of the first guys I always reach out to, him and Jimmy, and we take it from there, But yeah, I got a ton of stuff coming up, man. And I get to go back to my home state of West Virginia. I got some big shows coming up there, and that's always fun to get back home and see my folks. And I had like 100 flights the year before, so I was burnt. I was totally burnt. And so this did come at a good time for me, and went through a divorce and all that stuff. So, and still haven't got unemployment. Haven't got any unemployment. Not at all.
Adam,
Same.
I can help you out. With
Same.
Danny?
I know Linda, my girlfriend, she got a hold of this assemblywoman here. In 2 weeks, I got my money. I'd
Really?
waited since last March,
Oh, yeah.
and I got it this January.
Yeah, no.
2 weeks
Yeah,
after she contacted
Rick was telling me about that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
to
give
help you.
everybody your phone number. So
They keep telling me. Yeah, they keep telling me this makes no sense why you're not getting anything. This makes no sense. Why you're not getting
55555.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rick will help you out with that.
yeah. But you know what? Speaking about the traveling thing, and I just want to bring this up too. And you mentioned it earlier about the states having different mandates and stuff. And for someone like me who books a lot of shows, you talk about a nightmare. Last year, I had like a 10-day in a row, shows, and it started from West Virginia all the way down to Florida. And out of those 10 shows at the time, only one show went on.
Oh wow!
All right, and that was in my home state of West Virginia, because we're proud Mountaineers, and we're going to have fun regardless. Anyway, so we did that one show, but all the rest was canceled. So now, what do I do? You know what I mean? Because I was setting everything up, not just for that one show. But you can't cancel. I'm not going to cancel a show. So it really puts things hard. So, for example, I have 9 shows in 10 days coming up in July. All the shows are confirmed, but there's one in South Carolina, and they're like, oh, we don't know yet, we don't know yet, we don't know yet. I'm like, man, that puts a big wrinkle in the logistics. Then I got to come up with lodging, then I got to figure out. So it's tricky right now. It is tricky to navigate, and you're always reading all the headlines, and you don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You don't know from next day to next day who's changed what and who's going back to what. And it is so hard right now to book shows not knowing what mandates are in place and what's not.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes this year shaky. I mean, as this place canceled all the dates, I think it's just that they don't know who's going to show up or if they're going to get shut down. I heard some of these places, now the production houses have to carry COVID insurance, whatever that is, however they define that. And it's just making it hard. I mean, even just to travel, I heard about that just even, domestically. And I had a friend trying to go to Costa Rica that's a real thing. I haven't even heard of such a thing. So that's going to make it hard, And I think until it's all sorted out, I mean, we're just kind of in this little space of uncertainty.
Right. So my advice to anyone who's booking shows out of town is to really fight for that deposit. You know what I mean? Fight for that deposit. Yeah. I used to not fight for them. I used to be like, we'll work on the good old boy network. Handshake. Right. I'll send you a little one-page contract. We'll show up. We're good. I know you're good for it. Not nowadays. No, you have to get that deposit. That way, in case because some of these flights that say they're refundable, they're not refundable. Yeah. Like on Southwest, if you get the want to get away price, for example, forget about it. They're not going to refund it. They'll give you credit, but they're not going to refund it on the spot. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that you have to really think about if you're going to start booking right now out of Nevada.
Lots of logistics. Yeah, excellent, guys. Well, hey, let's we'll cut it here, man. But thank you for coming out. You guys sounded great.
Thank you, John.
And nice to see all you guys. I've seen some of you in a little bit, but we'll see you out there somewhere.
All right.
Guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
What you wanted when you came walking up to me with him. So I told you that I was happy for you, and given the chance I'd lie again. Sing it with me, Jimmy, come on. Just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to. Said and done, I'd never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost. Just to see you smile, I'd do anything that you wanted me to. Song of the Year back in 1998. Personally, my all-time favorite. Thank you for letting me sing it here today at Rock the House, guys. Thank you. Here we go. It was Labor Day week and I was 17. I bought a Coke and some gasoline. I drove out to the county fair. When I saw her for the first time, she was standing there in the ticket line. And it all started right then and there. Oh, the sailor stopped, made a perfect sunset. That's the day I'll never forget. I had a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. She was killing me in that mini skirt. Skipping rocks on the river by the railroad tracks. Now she had a suntan line and red lipstick. I worked so hard with that first kiss and a heart don't forget. Something like that. Well, it was 5 years later on a southbound plane. I was headed down to New Orleans. Meet some friends of mine for the Mardi Gras. When I heard a voice from the past, you know, coming from a few rows back, and when I looked, couldn't believe just what I saw. She said, I bet you don't remember me. And I said, only every other memory. I had a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. You were killing me in that mini skirt. Skipping rocks on the river by the railroad tracks. She had a suntan line and red lipstick. I worked so hard, that first kiss and a heart don't forget. Something like that. Like an old photograph, time can make a feeling fade. But the memory of the first love, man, it never fades away. I had a barbecue stain on my white t-shirt. She was killing me in that mini skirt. Skipping rocks on the river by the railroad tracks. You had a suntan line and red lipstick. I worked so hard for that first kiss and a heart don't forget. No, heart don't forget. I said a heart don't forget. Something like that. No, not something like that, yeah. Man, a heart don't forget something like this here today. Rock the house.